Georg, thank you so much for stopping by the Nonstop Nonprofit podcast. How are you doing this morning?
It's a pleasure. I'm pretty fine and really excited about the whole show.
Awesome. I think you might win for being the individual that's traveled the furthest. Tell us where you're from and a little bit more about your background.
So yeah, I'm from Berlin, and I do run a door-to-door fundraising company, which employs over 500 fundraisers every year.
Wow.
And we're out there in the streets in Germany and in Austria, and we do door-to-door fundraising for the NGOs there.
Awesome. So door-to-door fundraising, interesting. It's not a big channel here in the United States, and so I'd love to hear more about how it's received in Germany and how effective of a strategy it is. Obviously, it's you just shared 500 fundraisers, but would love to hear a little bit more about like the door-to-door strategy that you use.
So what we do, we walk up to the front door of basically random uncontacted houses, knock on the front door, and then try to turn these people into regular donors.
Yeah.
So we don't do it with like one-time donations. We go for regular donations because it's a high effort strategy.
Yeah.
And of course, you gotta have a high conversion rate. And it's usually something between 5% up to even 30%.
Wow.
So depending on the fundraiser, of course, and the project you're doing the fundraising for.
Yeah. So how does someone sign up monthly? Do they end up doing it online, or are they writing a check? What's the sort of way in which people do it?
You're committing them directly at their front door for the donation sum. And so our fundraisers, they do have a tablet with them, and the tablet is online, so you fill in the data.
Yeah.
And get the signature right there.
Okay.
And so in Austria and Germany, it's a thing to provide your bank details.
Okay.
I guess in the US, you would take the credit card, something like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you get the payment information right at the door. That's the point.
Got it. And does it work? Is the conversion skew from 5 to 30? Is it like more like household sort of nonprofits in Germany? Like, do they see higher conversion, or is it just purely a skill set of the fundraiser at the door that's able to drive conversion?
I guess it's many things, but first thing, of course, is the fundraiser. How good is the fundraiser? How experienced is he? Is he able to adapt to the circumstances? So each town, each city, each project does have different parameters.
Yeah.
So how good is the fundraiser? That's one big thing. And then, of course, the project itself, the NGO, has to have some kind of image in the widespread area.
What's the average gift size that door-to-door fundraising raises?
It depends a little bit. Right now, it's slightly above 10 euros per month.
Okay.
So 120, 130, 140 euros per year.
Yeah, per year. Interesting. So you're talking about this tomorrow, and something I was reading about is sort of like the psychology of like the fundraisers. Can you talk a little bit about that and what is that?
Yeah, I will talk about it. I will actually talk about it in my talk. I'm not really happy about this question. Okay. Because it was my question too. When I was a young fundraiser, I wanted to become successful and good and like how to turn people around, you know. And of course, I gravitated towards sales and persuasion techniques and books. And of course, you can find all this stuff out there. But it's kind of not the right thing to do in fundraising. Yeah. So everyone has the innate potential to care. And as a fundraiser, your job is just to tap into this potential. Okay. And for tapping into this potential, you don't really need all this persuasion stuff. Yeah. And of course, there's a lot of psychology at play there. Yeah. But
you give someone, we see this all the time, right? In fundraising, is you give someone the ability or the invitation to join something that's bigger than themselves, that aligns with sort of what they care about. Very little persuasion needs to happen in that moment, right? Because it's you're aligning someone's passion to a really great cause that's worthy of a donation and so forth. So you're also giving that individual an experience that will make them happy, that will increase their happiness, their joy, as a result. And so what sort of training goes into door-to-door fundraising? Is it like a specific, for nonprofits, like do they have a specific team that focuses door-to-door? Or are these individuals more kind of like universalists in terms of like they can sort of fundraise by any means, if that makes sense?
I'd say the door-to-door fundraisers who are good, they can do it like for any cause.
Yeah.
But what we find is that every door-to-door fundraiser kind of has his own favorite project, and as soon as they found it, they start to only do fundraising for this project.
Okay.
Because there's the thing where you gotta feel it.
Yeah.
And the people at the door, they feel it if you feel it.
Yeah.
And this really creates the magic.
Yeah, I bet.
So yeah.
It's harder to say no to someone in person than behind a screen or through an email or whatever it might be. So I imagine
definitely.
that's at play too for individuals that are in these conversations.
You always do have the relationship aspect. This building rapport. You might find someone very nice and just don't want to say no because you have to scare him away.
Is there now? Is the in Germany? Is this just like a cultural thing? Because in the States, it's I could see people getting pretty upset about someone coming to their house and asking them to donate. I could be wrong, but that's just my general sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Is this just sort of more accepted in Germany, and or is it something that you've pioneered through your own business that you've seen just to be successful?
So there always has been a very old canvassing tradition, but it's more for local stuff, the church or firefighters, local and I guess you have something like this too.
Yeah.
But this big door-to-door fundraising thing, it was kind of pioneered in Germany.
Okay.
And people now accept it, but in general, people are more surprised than upset. So because you don't, you don't expect it. You know, you just come home, and all of a sudden there rings someone on your door. So who is it?
Yeah.
And then there's the fundraiser who's doing all the magic.
What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned door-to-door fundraising that applies just to your broader fundraising strategies in general?
If you just focus on your message and don't do too much around it, like you said, what's the psychology behind it? Very often I find fundraisers, they try to gold plate their message with this idea to make it better.
Yeah.
But somehow they're just adding stuff which is more in the way in the end.
Yeah.
So if you find a way to communicate your message in a clear way, I guess 50% of the job is done. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes that. I mean, I think that principle is true kind of just throughout any sort of appeal, any sort of medium that you're using to raise funds for your organization. It's got to be clear and concise. The more concise, the better in many cases. But just the clarity around sort of what the ask is, where the money is, where the funds are going, how it's going to make an impact, whether it's in the community or elsewhere. So I think that there's a lot of alignment sort of across methods there. Okay, so a few more questions, some fun questions for you, and these are these may be very American questions.
Okay.
So forewarning there. All right, so basically, I'm going to ask you. You're going to choose between one of two items, right? So, okay, digital reading or an actual book?
An actual book.
An actual book. What's your favorite book?
I'd go with Lord of the Rings now.
Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Are you watching the television series?
No.
No. Okay. Yeah. No. It's
too soon. It's too soon.
Okay.
It's too soon.
Pizza or salad?
There are two salts in my body. So I gotta go with salad.
Salad. Okay. All right. Wow. The beach or the mountains?
The mountains.
Mountains. Football or football?
Neither.
Okay. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Dogs. Me too. Cats, not a big fan. You can pet dogs over here. Did you
really?
realize that? Yeah, they have a whole petting station over there. All right, two more. Funnel cake or cheesecake?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake. And last one. This one might be hard, but The Goonies or Sandlot? Have you seen any of those movies? No? Okay.
I go for the first one.
You have seen The Goonies?
No.
You'll go for it.
I like the name.
Good choice. Awesome. Well, George, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing some of your insight with us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Have a great day.